day, I think that was an important day of my life. One day, all of a sudden, things changed. I talked to myself and I said, Ajay, this is not the thing you are meant for. You are meant for bigger things in life. You are meant to bigger things. To be honest with you. And that night itself, without preparation, I enrolled for GID examination here. If you want to get back to get to America, you have to write GRE for masters. Do you know that? Like the way you write SAT,
Yeah.
right? So they here, if you are coming for masters, you have to write GRE. And I had no idea what is the syllabus for GRE. All I did is I went online and I was like, I'm going to write GRE. I'm going to come out of my comfort zone and travel to a different country. That was like my I that I did at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. I woke up and I was like, I'm not getting sleep. I'm not happy with my life. I'm not at all happy. And then I was and if you are writing that exam, there are a lot of prerequisites to it. You have to be really great when it comes to language. And then I started working a lot. Like I was doing job. I was working for a good job in TCS. And night I was coming at probably 10 p.m. And that is where I was starting my studies. I was starting my studies from 10 to 3 because I know like daytime I will be in office. So there's little things, when you have direction in life, your life will change. That was one decision I made. And when you sleep at 3 a.m., right? And then you get up and you have to go to office. And I changed a couple of more things. I used to spend half an hour for lunch, or maybe I think I would say 1 hour, with my coworkers. I stopped going there. I told like I can eat at my desk, and remaining time I can cram some good vocabulary which will help me in GRE or solve some mathematics problem. So I reduced my lunch time by 50 minutes, and then we have a culture of driving bike in India. So I used to drive bike for like 1.5 hour to reach office. And I was like, if I'm driving, I'm not going to read. I can't read anything. So I decided that I'm going to take a bus. So that in bus I'm not driving, somebody else is
Mm-hmm.
driving, and I can utilize like one and a half hour. This is 1.5 hour, and this is half an hour. So 2 hours I get it right. 2 hours you will not get right.
Wow.
Yeah. So and then then when I moved to
What do
the
you
country.
think? What do you think made you make that decision? It was like all of a sudden there was this thing that clicked in your mind,
Right.
and then your life went in a completely different direction that
True.
it was going to go.
True.
Do you have any sense of what happened there?
To be honest with you, I always that time I had like lot of not self belief, I would say, not self belief. I felt that maybe I'm not taking actions because of my fears. So let me try and go ahead and come out of comfort zone. And for some reason, I was able to see what I'm going to accomplish.
So when you woke up at 2 a.m., did you
Right.
have like a vision that came to you, or was it more just a decision of this?
Vision was to work in downtown in America. That was a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I want to work in a corporate office at downtown, and that my dream came true in when I was working for Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a vision that I'm going to America no matter what. I'm going to like do everything what it takes to get there. So that was a that like I didn't have complete picture. I was not able to see which company I'm going to work for
Oh yeah.
or which college I'm going
Yeah.
to study, right? And that's okay. I felt that I
And then
can do it.
after that day, you were immediately just like, "What's the GRE? I'm
Yeah,
gonna study for all of this. I'm gonna
exactly.
pass it."
Right.
And then you, how did you get over here after you passed it? You were kind
Once
of
I
telling
got,
that.
I sure. So here's the thing. You have to
So
clear.
oh yeah, and then as far as what caused it, you're kind of just like, I don't know what caused it. I was just kind of feeling those. I was what was it?
All right. I was feeling that that this is not something I want to do for rest of my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
being working for corporate 9 to 6 and getting, I mean, not being in a good work culture. This is not something I'm meant for.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always that time I thought like I'm meant for big things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to move ahead from this phase of my life, and that too there was. my life was not uncomfortable at all. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
That is a typical life of any Indians who work in IT, that get
Yeah.
a job and then switch to a different company, get 40% hike or 60% hike, get a car and settle, get married and settle. So that's the traditional path in India.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, and that was traditional path. I don't want to follow that path. I was like, I don't want to sit at the age of 45.
So it was fear,
What?
a fear
Yes,
that drove that.
fear, kind of, yes, fear that if you have capability to do the best, why not? Why to procrastinate things? Why after 5 years?
Hmm.
Right. If I have to get masters, I will go ahead. I will do it today itself. Why should I wait for 5 years? Because here I'm not getting any salary hike. Salary hike is probably 17%, which is a lot, which sounds a lot, but base salary is also low, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to like work with this kind of people. That was also my motivation. As Kiran mentioned right, that day, he was fed up with Sprint company, right? So in fact, I was not fed up. I have no problem with the company I was working for. It's a great company, but for some reason, I feel like this is not something I want to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have like it's not that I don't want to be a software engineer, but I feel that this will not give me satisfaction
Hmm.
with what I want to do in life. So that was a kind of trigger,
How long did it take you to pass the GRE?
3 and 4 months.
Okay.
I prepared for 3 months
And then
because I didn't have time that
after
time.
you got your GRE, how did you get to what did you do to get to America and get
All right. So once I had my GRE, then I sent that scores GRE score to all the colleges where I want to apply, and then you have to wait for their admission process. Like there was some rejection, and there are some colleges which will accept you, based upon your score and overall profile. So that is a long process when you are coming from India. It takes around 9 months to get everything to enter into the country. For example, you have to go to college and get letter of recommendation, right? And I was working, so I was working in Pune, and I had to go back to Tamil Nadu, Chennai, to get that letter of recommendation. So
which is what? How many hours in the car?
maybe if you're flying, then it is 5 hours.
But did you fly or did you?
I took a train because I
And
was.
so how long did the train take?
Train took around 30 hours.
30 hours.
Yeah, so because I was not making a lot of money that time,
Yeah.
and I thought like let's travel by train.
Yeah.
I can take some time off from TCS and I can save some money.
Yeah.
So that is how that is how that was one decision. That day my direction was clear in life, right? Then I took responsibility. I took actions, right? And I took a decision. Taking a decision is very important in life, and backing up that decision with all the right choices.
Did you ever almost back out of the whole thing?
What?
Once you made that decision, did you ever be like, how much self doubt did you have? None.
After
Were you just
making a
like, it's
decision,
done, it's this?
after making a decision, definitely, I didn't have self doubt. But when you are hearing people's voice, right, it goes in your subconscious mind, and you think like, am I making any mistake? I have already my career built over here, right?
Hmm.
And then thinking about like what will be the future. So my positive energy was very high that time. So others' voice will not didn't had any impact on me that time. I had a coworker, and he was like, I said like this is the amount I'm going to make, and he was like, that's a way too ambitious amount. You are seeing all the positive side of it, right? So I didn't want to like shout at him and saying like why you are demotivating him. There will be people, right? I mean, when your parents, right, when you say that I'm going to start multi-billion-dollar company, right? They have doubts about you, right? They feel like you're good at job, right? Sometimes it happens, right? All parents, middle class, right? Middle class.
My parents would be like, go ahead.
Oh, really? Then it's a
They
different.
would lead me into, they'd be like, you think you can do it?
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's a
When
different
I
world.
was gonna, when I was gonna start, so I had my in between my six. Well, yeah, basically they're very supportive people.
I
My
see.
parents are very supportive of anything that I do.
Hmm. So yeah, I mean, when you have sense of direction, definitely, and it's not their problem. My parents were also sometimes they discouraged me.
Mm-hmm.
They told me like, you already have a job, come on. And that is a typical age to get married in India when you have 23, 24, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
was 23 when I landed here into the country 5 years back. So I just like, I didn't want to fight with him. I told him like, hey look, this is the path I'm thinking on right now. If I take that decision, this history will remember me for this my decision, you know. Like, he is somebody who is rebellious and coming from a small village, and then he is going to IT industry and he wants to grow in life. Like, why I should not be thinking about that. So I had a kind of heated argument with my family once, and after that they never stopped me. Like, okay, try it, try it and see how it works.
Yeah.
So I was like very polite to them, but at the same time I wanted to keep my point across. I told them these are the good things also, right? You, if you are considering all the negative things, right? These are the good things.
Yeah.
And then and then when you take a decision, right? And then again you have challenges, you have risk when you move to a new country, right? Definitely, in fact, you have to go through the challenges, right? It's not like everything does not comes easy, right? You will not get a job in Dell without getting rejected at other company, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
not getting good grades in college, right? That happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is where I feel like when I took the responsibility, my life started to move in another direction.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with personal development, right? That time I was pretty clear that I'm going to a different country. I'm going to a different country, so I'm going to start a different life, you know. So you must be surprised when I was sitting in a flight, I had an American, sitting near to me, and I was asking all the questions: what Americans do, what they don't do, how you guys work in America, how many hours you study. I was asking those questions in entire, probably it was 30 hours journey from India.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was from Europe. She was having an American citizens in Kansas City. So she was telling about this America, and all. And then I landed here, did my masters. That time I was not into personal development.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, okay, your goal was to get masters, you got it. What's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I thought like my personal development started with Google Calendar. That was the first thing I did in my personal development. I was like fed up with wasting a lot of time, watching Netflix and all the TV shows.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. I used to buy in
Although it is a great movie,
yeah, I used
it
to
is a
buy in
good show.
Iowa. Watch that in Iowa. I
Yeah.
watched for like 1 month, and then I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I started doing like personal development little by little. In 2018 July, so that is where I started my journey, personal development.